Station Houston on Space to Ground 2. Are you ready for the event?
Houston Station, we are ready for the event.
Full Green Elementary, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
Station, this is Lori Schoenweiser at Pole Green Elementary School. How do you hear me?
Pole Green Elementary, we hear you loud and clear, and welcome to the International Space Station.
Thank you. Welcome to Pole Green. We are glad to share our morning with you. I have about 800 really excited staff members and students behind me. We are one of many schools in Hanover counties. We are representing questions from elementary, middle, and high schools across Hanover County, Virginia this morning. We are ready to get started if you are. This is Berkeley.
Miss Anderson's class wants to know how you wash your clothes and dishes in space.
Well, the good news is for us, you don't have to wash your clothes in space. Therefore, you don't have to fold them and you don't have to put them away. The clothes come up. The clothes come up. We wear them, we get them dirty, and then we throw them away because we got no washing machine up here to go ahead and clean our clothes. So that means we got to send up a lot of clothes all the time. Now, dishes, on the other hand, well, our food containers really are our dishes. So the only things that really get dirty are our spoons. We don't need knives because we're not having to cut anything. We don't really need forks because the spoons work for everything. And so what we do is we use wipes, and we wipe the food, and our scissors, which cut the packages, we wipe those off when we're done eating. And that's really all there is to it, because our drinks all come in a bag and a straw, and those get thrown away as well.
Thank you.
Come on, Ruby. Say, my name is Ruby.
My name is Ruby. How do you sleep in space?
Hey, good morning. I sleep great in space. It is really, really comfortable, but we don't sleep in a bed because we just float. And so if you were on a bed, you'd float away. So we sleep inside of bags, like a sleeping bag, and it's kind of cool. I have mine that's stuck against the wall, and so I sleep standing or kind of standing on the wall. Randy, as you can see, he's usually sleeping up on top, so he's kind of like this, and Mark is across from me. So we all sleep in different directions, but your body doesn't know. And if you're not inside of a bag, if you were just to fall asleep, you'd wake up in the morning somewhere on the space station and not even know where you are.
My name is Evan. How do you make sure you don't run out of food?
Evan, that's a great question, and certainly a very important one. We have an inventory and storage officer on the flight control team who's responsible for making sure that they keep track of the supplies. Of course, we have to tell them when we finish off a package of food so that they can keep track of how quickly we're consuming the food and make sure that the resupply vehicles that bring food to us have the right amount to resupply us with.
Thank you. My name is Arav. How long can you stay out of the space station with your spacesuit on?
Well, the spacesuit has all the oxygen we need to breathe. It has the scrubbers that take the carbon dioxide that we breathe out, and it scrubs that out of the system. And it also has water that it uses to go ahead and cool us down inside the suits. And so those things limit how long we can be out there. Now, you can imagine, kind of like if you're running and playing all day, you need a lot more food and a lot more energy, right? Well, the longer we can stay out is the less energy we use. So that's why we move really slow and very deliberately so we can go ahead and stay out there longer to do the work we need to. And we don't rush around and get really sweaty and hot, because that then forces the system to use that energy and the oxygen and the scrubbing capability, and so we have less time. And so typically right now we can get about 6.5 hours to maybe 7 hours out of our spacesuits. Now, longest spacewalks have been over 8 hours. And when you think about how long we're in the suits, we are in the suits before the EVA, about 3 to 4 hours getting ready, and then maybe an hour afterwards. So all told, once you get in that suit, you're spending about 11 to 11 and a half hours in the suit for a 6.5, 7-hour spacewalk. And that whole time, all you have is water to drink. There's no food, so we get really hungry.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Hiro. What time zone does the International Space Station follow?
Well, we work on Greenwich Mean Time, and it is about the same time as London without daylight savings time. So that's the time we operate here on the space station, and then all of the mission control centers around the world that support us, they work around our schedule. So we're kind of like the sun. Everybody revolves around us up here.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Aiden. If you spin a fidget spinner in space, does it just keep spinning?
Well, I have a very good commander, and he happened to have a fidget spinner handed to me just before this event, so I was prepared to answer this question. I'll do a demonstration, and we can answer this question together. Still on. So you can see the fidget spinner's going a lot faster now than or a lot longer now than it would on the ground. But eventually, because there are air molecules that this is interacting with, it will slow down over time, and it will eventually come to a stop.
Thank you.
My name is Gabby. This question is from Fred at Cold Harbor Elementary School. What happens if you get sick in space?
Well, we work really hard not to. We go into quarantine to make sure that nobody brings any bugs up to get anybody any kind of sick. And so I don't know the last time anybody was ever sick up here. So that's really good. But if you did, guess what? We've got flight surgeons and doctors that take care of us and monitor us all the time. And so if we do get sick, they're able to diagnose it from the ground, and then we go ahead and have medicines and things up here to take care of it. Why is it, how is that applicable to life on Earth? Well, in some places there are cities and villages and towns on the Earth that don't have doctors. And so if people can call in and talk to a doctor, we call it telemedicine, or even use video, on an iPhone to show a doctor something. That's kind of telemedicine where a doctor can sit in one place and help all kinds of people. Well, we're trying out those same kind of technologies up here.
Thank you. My name is Elise. Can a person in a wheelchair go into space?
Can anyone go to space? That's a great question. So right now, it's hard to get up into space, and most of the time, you have to be astronauts like us or from some of our other partner countries. And we have had some people that are space tourists that come up to space. But what we all hope is that over time, more and more people can come to space. It's a really cool place to be. There's a lot of neat things that we do up here with the science research. So right now, it's limited to mostly professional astronauts. But our hope is that someday all of us can come up to space and experience this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you. My name is Gracie. This question is from Katie at South Anna Elementary School. What do you do for entertainment on the International Space Station?
That's another great question. For me personally, the most entertaining thing I have on the space station are my other crewmates. We have a lot of laughs. But when I have alone time, I like to read a book before I go to sleep. I also really enjoy looking at the windows, looking out the windows and taking pictures. I'm learning how to become a better photographer with the amazing cameras we have up on the space station. And I also really like just traveling from place to place. Sometimes imagine that I can actually do a backflip like a gymnast. Things like that are fun to do, but certainly things I could never do on the ground.
Thank you. My name is Bridget. This question is from Morgan at Battlefield Green Elementary School. What do you bring with you to space?
We bring things, most people bring things to remind yourself of home, bring things to allow you to, entertain yourself, like Mark mentioned, like books. And we bring things that will help other people enjoy the journey as well. And so, like I have a couple kids in schools, and so I brought up something from their school so they could feel a part of this mission. I brought up pictures of my family so I could, look at those and just have, rekindle the memories I have of the time that I'm apart, and I can't wait to go see them again. Also bring up, fidget spinners, bring up our own personal little spaceships. And so we've got all kinds of things that we can use to, show you guys what it's like to be up here. And so it's pretty neat opportunity to be able to bring things up that remind us of home, because that's really what you miss the most when you're up here.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Ryan. How do you drink in space?
So, like Randy said earlier, we don't have to do dishes, and so we actually drink out of a bag. So all of our drinks are in a bag. This is, it's yummy. It's pineapple drink. And so we have different flavored drinks. We can have coffee up here. We can just drink regular water. And so everything has to be inside of a bag so stuff doesn't float away. And we have a straw. And Randy, if you help me out, I'll show you how this works. And hopefully I won't make too much of a mess. Whoa. So you can see the water coming out. Let me close it off so it doesn't get too big. And we got the water bubble. Uh-oh. Yummy. And so we drink out of bags. It's pretty cool, and it's lots of fun.
Thank you. My name is Morgan. This question is from Lindsay at Washington Henry Elementary School. Do you get a lot of headaches in zero gravity?
So me personally, I get a few more headaches here than I do on the ground. Partly, I think, because the sensation of floating means our fluids don't sink to our feet like they do on the ground. Our fluids inside our body are also floating, so we tend to feel a little more stuffy in our head, more congestion in the nose, and for me at least, that's caused me to have more headaches than I have on the ground.
Thank you.
This question is from Jeremiah at Cold Harbor Elementary School. Could you see the solar eclipse from the space station?
We did see the solar eclipse. We saw it both looking up at the sun as well as seeing the shadow of the moon, or the umbra, on the ground. And the size of the shadow on the ground was what I think was most amazing to us. Here we are, going around the Earth every 90 minutes, and we see this huge, it was black, and very black, and all the color was, taken out of either the ground or the clouds that we were looking on. And it even made the colors of the things that were beyond the shadow look a little different. And then we had a couple passes where we actually see the sun and see the moon come over it. And just like you guys had special glasses on, we had the same thing. And we also had filters on our cameras so we could take pictures of the moon covering up the sun and it going to just a sliver. So it was really interesting to see, and I hope that you guys got to enjoy it on the ground as well.
We did. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Charlie. This question is from Sean at Atlee High School. What effect does space have on astronauts' bodies?
Hey, Charlie, wonderful question. So we've been coming up to space now for decades, and we're still learning a lot about how space affects the human bodies. And so we do a lot of experiments on ourselves, and scientists, they want to see how our body reacts on Earth and then how it changes when we come up here. A couple of things we do know is our muscles and our bones, they change while we're up here. And so we actually have to work out for over 2 hours every day to keep our muscles strong and to keep our bone density in place. So lots of changes, and we want to learn as much as we can so that when we leave Earth and we go farther and farther and we're gone for longer periods of time, we know how to stay healthy.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ella. This question is from Nathan at Kersey Creek Elementary School. What happens if you cry in space?
I'm happy to report from personal experience that I have cried in space, but only due to laughing really, really hard. What happens is that since the water doesn't fall anyplace, it just beads up on your eye, and you just have to wipe it away. But it's pretty fun, laughing so hard that you cry.
My name is TJ. This question is from Vasiliki at Mechanicsville Elementary School. Can you see any other planets other than Earth from the International Space Station?
Yeah, certainly, like you can see other planets, you know, as brighter stars or bigger stars from the ground. We can see the same thing here. Now, we're only 250 miles closer to them than you are. So it's not like Jupiter's like this big. It still looks like a star, you know, and Mars does, and Venus does as well. It's just that we don't have an atmosphere to go ahead and dissipate some of the light, and so we see them very, very clearly. It's really, really beautiful to see.
Hi, my name is Callan. If you uncapped a bottle of water and held it upside down in space, what would happen?
Yeah, so it's pretty cool up here to see how water and other things react in space. So when I drank out of the water bag, you saw that the water kind of made a bubble, like a ball, and that is due to the surface tension of the water. And so actually, if I had a bottle of water up here and I opened the cap and I was very gentle, if I kept it upright, the water surface would hold it down, and it'd be like just sticking to the bottom of the bottle. And if I turn the bottle upside down, again, it wouldn't come out. So as long as you are gentle with the force you put on the bottle, it doesn't matter if it's upright or upside down, it'll stay in the bottle.
My name's Emma. Can you celebrate a birthday in space?
From what I understand, you definitely can. It all depends on getting people together and having a good time. So, yes, I'm sure we can celebrate a birthday in space.
And we will.
And according to Joe, we will. Yes, we'll have some birthdays in space.
My name is Brody. This question is from Chase at Oak Knoll Middle School. Do you think it is peaceful in space because you can get away, or do you find it more stressful because you have to worry about doing your job well?
Great question, because it's both. During the day, we're working really hard to go ahead and execute the mission, whether it's science or repair or, you know, taking care of our bodies with exercise. And so we're always trying to make sure that we're able to complete our task every day. But it's also exceptionally peaceful because you can just relax at any point and your body and muscles aren't affected by anything, and so you're physically relaxed. You can also go to the window and watch the Earth go by at 6 miles every second, not 60 miles an hour, 6 miles every second. And your mind is able to look at the beauty of the Earth and see how peaceful it is and really take your mind and give it a break. So it's a combination of them, and that's where we figure out how long duration to figure out what's the balance for you, maybe different for Joe or different for Mark. Where is it that you're able to handle the stress and find your peace and be an effective crew member, so that when we spend a 9-month, mission going to Mars, when you get to Mars, you're a healthy, happy crew member ready to do the exploration mission. That'll be up for you guys to decide, because by the time we build that spaceship, we're going to be retired astronauts. And so you guys are the astronauts of the future, that we need to go ahead and do that for us. So that's why we're doing this research and work now.
Hi, my name is Chloe. This question is from Taylor in Mr. Welsh's class at Lee Davis High School. What are your next steps after serving as an astronaut?
Whoa. You know what? I'm not sure. So before I became an astronaut, I was a middle school teacher. And, of course, that was the best job ever. And teachers work the hardest, so a good shout out to all the teachers there. So I think when I'm done being an astronaut, I want to go back and do something in education, because to me there's no other field more important than that.
Station, thank you for your time. Wave goodbye. Goodbye.
All right, goodbye, guys. We'll leave you with 3, 2, 1, blast off.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event.
Station Houston on 2. Thank you for participating from Pole Green Elementary School. We are now resuming operational audio communications.